What's happening, boot junkies? Wow, that's the hair you're going with for this video, Mike, is it? Well, you're not here for my hair. Well, maybe you are, but whatever. Hair and makeup, Mike. Remember, hair and makeup. What's happening, boot junkies? Mike Delgadio here, back with another video on home studio setup for voiceover. The other day I did a video on a Fethead, and I compared it to the Cloud Lifter. And I came upon a scenario that I think demonstrates exactly why you would want to buy one of these devices. So we have the Fethead and the Fethead Phantom. Two very similar devices, two slightly different use cases. The Fethead, as we know from the other video, is a mic activator, amplifier, preamplifier, preamplifier. It adds gain. It uses phantom power from your interface or from your device, and it adds gain. 25 dB of gain. Blocks phantom power, so you can use it with dynamic microphones and ribbon microphones that won't accept phantom power. Now, the Fethead Phantom, essentially the same thing. The only difference is it passes phantom power. So it receives phantom power from your interface and passes it onto the mic. So you can use a Fethead Phantom for condenser microphones that require 48 volts. Now, I'm recording this. I'm still on my quest to have a good travel setup. So when I travel, I want to pack in my suitcase something that I can audition with, and in a pinch, I can record something that's high quality, and I can, do a pickup for somebody, or if I need to record something quickly, I can record. And I've traditionally used my Zoom H5, but that means I got to bring the Zoom, I have to bring an XLR cable, and I have to bring a microphone. Takes up space, takes up weight in my bag. I'd like to make it smaller if I can. And so I had purchased this. This is a video way back in my archives. This is the Saramonic SR VRM1. And this is essentially the same thing as like the Zoom. It's an interface, or not an interface, it's a portable recorder. The nice thing about this is it does provide phantom power. But I'm going to be quiet for a second. Listen to it. It has the worst preamps ever. This hiss is crazy. Which means it's really sat in a box for this whole time. I don't really use it. I still bring my Zoom. But it occurred to me, now that I've got a Fethead Phantom in my possession, on loan to me, thank you, Alan. Alan sent this over to us. He sent both of these over to us. Thank you, Alan. Alan, go subscribe to SoundSpeeds. Alan sent me one of each. And so what I thought I would do is show you how we can fix this preamp with a Fethead Phantom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop. It's going to go quiet for a second, and I'm going to add the Fethead Phantom to this chain. Okay, it's going to be super loud. I'm going to turn it down now. Okay. Sorry, this cable's a little heavy. This microphone swivels. Let's give it one more. Okay, so now, listen to that. Whoa. So here's the difference. Should be about the same. Should be about the same for what you're hearing. But I was able to half the volume on the preamp. So the preamp's now at 23. So I don't have any of that inherent noise of the preamp. You're just getting straight, robust signal from the microphone. So now if I listen, I don't hear any noise now. I just hear signal. I don't hear any noise. So before it had this like fluttering effect. And it had a sound like I was at the ocean, at the beach. That underlying that was in the mic, that's in the preamplifiers. It's just part of that signal. I was able to turn the preamps way, way, way down, and now I've got just clean, robust signal going to the interface. And so that's really the use case that I see as the true benefit, is it allows you to turn your preamps down so that they operate with plenty of signal. You're not working your preamps super hard, so that now you can create this. So this could be your booth setup, couldn't it? I just have rechargeable batteries in there. So I think that's the primary concern. There's no like USB power on this, so it's only going to run off batteries. But with steady supply of rechargeable batteries, just get a bunch of rechargeables. You could switch them out, and you could have essentially indefinite supply of power so long as you've got batteries for it. And so you could take this little setup here, but it needs that Fethead Phantom. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is let me go grab a dynamic mic and just see how the signal sounds. Give me 1 second. Okay, so I can't hear myself, but now what I have here is like this is a Beta 58A supercardioid microphone. Thank you, Alan. He sent me this whole package of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in the Fethead, the regular Fethead. This one is the traditional Fethead. We'll disconnect the condenser. I'm talking, but you can't hear me. So let's see how this sounds. So this is still all one take because this Fethead will block phantom power to this microphone, so I can just plug that right in. And so I'm not going to put this in the stand, but now I'm just using this one as a handheld. And I think I can turn the preamps down even further on this dynamic here. I'm sure you can't see that. So now I have the preamps way down at 12, way down. So I can use something like this. Now look at this. I could do an interview with you. Although a supercardioid microphone isn't really the best option to do interviews unless you've got really good technique and you only talk when the mic is in front of you. Otherwise, nobody can hear you when the mic is moving away from you. But you could do something like this, and this is a fine option. So we've got the device, the Fethead, and I feel like this on this particular device, this is the crucial setup here. I can't plug the microphone in with this out, so I'll have to do a second take so you can hear what the Beta 58 sounds like without the Fethead. But I wanted to do this first part in all one take, so I'll do that next. But so if you factor in the price of this device plus the price of the Fethead, this together, I forget what I paid for this. $80 to $100 is what my recollection is. I'll put a picture or something up. I bought it off Amazon. So if you take this as it's a $200 device, it's a little bit on the pricey side. If my recollection on pricing is correct. But I now have a really, what I think is a certainly good enough system here that I could take this and travel. And I might even be able to get away with this Beta 58A. I'm new to the Beta 58A. I'm testing this one out. And I tell you what, for a vocal microphone, I mean, I know that's what it's for, but holy cow, that's a good sounding dynamic. $149 for the Beta 58A as opposed to the SM58. This is a super cardioid microphone, narrower. And anyway, I'm getting off track because I like to talk about microphones. But that's the so this is the setup. So what I'm going to do now is I think I have to stop this audio. So I'll patch it in after and connect. Just listen to this without the Fethead. I have to turn the preamps way back up just so we see if there's any difference. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I plugged this in. Can I hear myself? Can I hear myself? Oh, now, there I am. Maybe you could hear me before, but I couldn't hear myself in the headphones. All right, so now in order to get what seems like the same signal, I have to turn the preamps all the way up. Now on the dynamic, because I'm not supplying phantom power, maybe that makes the preamps a little quieter, but I definitely still hear an underlying hiss. But now, instead of maxing the preamps out, I now have with the Fethead and the dynamic, I have the preamps down way, way, way low. Now I've got the preamps all the way up. So I do hear an underlying noise. Not quite as bad as when it was with a condenser, but I definitely hear it. But that's the difference. So this is as much gain as I can supply. This is as loud as this microphone can get without, adding, boost in post-processing. But that would also boost the underlying hiss. But either way, that's the whole idea with the Fetheads and the Cloud Lifter. But the Fetheads, it just gives you a ton more gain so that you get a much clearer signal because you can turn your preamps down. And that's when preamps are going to work better when they're lower. If they're pushed all the way, especially inexpensive preamps like I guess are in here, they get noisy. And by turning it down and adding additional signal, it can be a lot clearer. Does that help? So if you are recording in a home studio and you've got a booth and you have to put your computer far away because it makes noise, so you've got just a portable recorder type situation, then you can get yourself a Fethead, put it between your mic and a smaller, inexpensive recorder. This allows you to keep your inexpensive interface and just fix it for $100 or less. You can turn a so-so preamp into a much better one with the addition of a Fethead. So that's what they're for. Does that help? I hope so. That's all I have for you today. So go get yourself a mic activator if that's what you need so that you can improve your preamps and go record something amazing. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks.